Howdy neighbors, I'm Mac McCarty, welcoming you back to the Rough and Tumble channel. Certainly want to tell everybody I appreciate how you've supported the channel and listening. I really appreciate you joining in. It's my privilege to share these stories with you. A lot of years out there, and I know some of you are still out there, and hope things are treating you well and that you're getting along in good health. This story today is a story related to me from someone I worked with in the oil patch. Oh man, I was just a young'un. He was probably not too far from as old as I am, you know. But I got such a kick out of it, I need to share this one with you. And this one comes from a friend that his nickname was Smitty. And I was just a big old boy, and he had big old club fist, you know, just real powerful man. And just for us young guys out there, he was a pleasure, sort of a mentor to us. But he told me this story about when he was in high school. And turns out his buddy had a pet flying squirrel. I don't know how many of you have seen a flying squirrel or ever been around one, but they're cute little interesting characters and probably only about that big full grown. So they're small animals. Anyway, his buddy had decided one day to carry that pet squirrel to school. Now I think maybe he had a little bit of an ulterior motive, because I think he probably figured the girls might really like this little squirrel because it was so cute. But anyway, this guy, as he went to school, that squirrel would ride around in his shirt pocket right here. And you know, you didn't even know he had it. That squirrel would be right there in his shirt pocket. So it was right before class one morning, and everybody's in the class waiting, getting close to time for the teacher to show up, class to start. And old Smitty's buddy, he'd wiggle his finger up under that pocket and that squirrel would crawl up on his shoulder. Well, he did that. He's hoping to get some attention there, you know. And sure enough, the girls were ooh and ahhing over him. Oh, isn't that the cutest little thing you ever saw? Oh, where did you get that thing? And Smitty's sitting in the desk right there in front of him. He's right there, and that squirrel's sitting up there. Smitty says, hold on there, and they got up out of the desk there, and Smitty laid his arm up on his shoulder, and that squirrel walked over there on his shoulder. So Smitty's standing there. Of course, Smitty was wanting some of this attention too. Well, that squirrel's sitting right there on Smitty's shoulder, and the girls are oohing and ahhing. Oh, they thought that was the neatest little thing they'd ever seen. And about that time, teacher come walking in the door. Well, Smitty knew that if you jerked real quick or any sudden movement, sound or something, that squirrel would run right back down in your pocket. So he just jerked his shoulder a little bit, and that thing run down in his shirt pocket. But the teacher had seen it. And she said, Smitty, what was that on your shoulder right there? Nothing, ma'am, nothing. Now, Smitty, I saw something on your shoulder. No, ma'am, no, ma'am. Now, Smitty, don't you lie to me. You want to go to the principal's office? No, ma'am. She said, well, it looked like some kind of little furry thing, and I want to see it. Ma'am, I don't really think that's a good idea. Now, Smitty, and she walked over there to him, and she says, let me see that thing. He wiggled his finger up under that pocket. That thing come walking right up on his shoulder, sitting there looking at her. And that teacher just melted. She said, why, that's the cutest little critter I've ever seen. She said, oh, isn't it furry and fluffy? She said, well, what is that? He said, well, ma'am, that's a flying squirrel. And she says, well, you think I could pet him? He says, well, ma'am, I really don't think that's too good an idea. And she says, now listen, he's sitting on your shoulder. I don't see why I can't pet that cute little booger. Well, ma'am, if you'll just take your arm, ease it over here, just ease over here. And he said, set it on my shoulder. And he says, it'll walk over there and get on your shoulder. She said, all right. She put her old hand up on his shoulder, and that thing crawled over there on her shoulder. And she said, oh, man. She said, oh, this is wonderful. She says, I've never seen one of these before. And she said, isn't it the cutest little thing in the world? Well, you see now, that nut behind old Smitty there, the one that owned the squirrel, he knew quite well what would happen if he jerked that desk or he did some sudden movement. She was going to be looking for a shirt pocket. Only this teacher didn't have on a shirt. She had on this nice dress with a kind of a low cut neck. And that idiot jerked his desk, and that squirrel run right down in her bra. And she goes, oh, get him out, get him out. And then she says, no, don't get him out. I wish I could have seen that. Now, he told that for a true story, folks, and I believe him. I believe him. I just could see the look on that teacher's face, and she had this dilemma. She had a squirrel down in her bra, and she didn't know what to do. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story. That's a story I never forgot. I just got a big kick out of it. Folks, I appreciate a like, that thumbs up deal. If you would, it's up to you. And subscribing doesn't cost any money. If you look at these when you're watching YouTube, you look under that video, it'll say subscribe. If you just touch that, it'll subscribe you. There's no cost. There's no obligation. This is just sharing these things, preserving our history in the oil field. A lot of colorful people out there. And big part of the people that I tell about and talk about in these stories, they're gone. They're gone. This is preserving that memory. So thank you for joining in. Until next time, I'm Mac McCarty saying so long from the Rough and Tumble channel.